Puppy prepared for this grand finals?
I told you before. I didn't think I'd have to tell you again. This is not acceptable. You're really trying to test me, aren't you? Do you even know who I am and what I've done? You're talking to the big dog now.
Don't test him. He'll do it. He'll really do it.
You know, I always wondered how the insides look like.
I think it's time to find out, don't you?
I think it's time to find out. For real.
That was something, huh?
Yup.
Aren't you kind of like sick of it at this point? Like, doesn't it kind of get old?
I mean, it's all right. I would rather spend my time coaching, but you know, I get it.
But don't you ever worry that the fans will think that you're serious?
No, I don't think so. I think the real fans know who I am. Ultimately, it's the fans who are important.
It makes a lot of sense. It's really good that you see it that way.
Yeah, people are gonna say what they're gonna say. I just don't let it get to me.
100%. You know, you really are as wise as people say.
Man, I appreciate you saying that. At the end of the day, I'm not a violent guy. Copy pastas, they're just copy pastas. That's not who I am. Excuse me for a second.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, well, as long as you're comfortable with it, enjoy your sandwich.
Thanks.
See ya.
Laters. Ah, this is rye bread? I said no rye bread. Who's responsible for this?
I'm sorry, Papi. That was me. It won't happen again.
Honestly.
I gotta love some content for sure as we're getting ready for game number 3 here with the grand finals. BB and PVISION 1-1, and it's time to see what the teams have planned for each other and see what the coaches have planned for each other as well, as it has been a battle of the minds. Ooh, some zen being achieved here as well. Very important to stay cool, calm, and focused in high pressure situations.
You know, people joke about Puppy a lot, but his methods have really worked for PVISION. Like, talking to the players and hearing from them, it seems like they are individually very high skilled and they all want to play Dota, but they don't enjoy the strategic aspect so much of competing at this level, and they just wanted someone to offload that responsibility and take it upon themselves, and Puppy was the perfect fit for that.
Yeah, and on top of this, there's also like some sort of emotional attachment, I guess. Like, you kind of build a tie with the draft when you're too much of a, like, too big of a part of it in a sense. Like, if you're a player, like if you make a call for a hero, for instance, then you feel the pressure of it paying off. You're like, I'm losing my lane, and I kind of forced my team into this. You know, I was a big voice. It kind of, it can mess with your gameplay a little bit and your decision taking in the game. Like, some players really enjoy being completely, like, as you said, freed from that responsibility and just focus on the game and try their best, and that's it, really. So good to hear that this is like a formula that works better for them and helps them express their potential.
Yeah, we are in the draft. We got BB on the Radiant, PVISION on the Dire side. First pick going once again to the team on the Dire side with PVISION, and the Hoodwink gets picked up first. Just quickly giving a glance at if there's any notable heroes that we expected to see banned that are not. I guess the Undying and the Slaughter are the ones that were banned previous game that were not banned this game. Keeper of the Light will be the answer coming out from BB.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think, like, why would they go away from the first pick Invoker and decide to first pick Hoodwink instead? And I don't have the answer to that question.
Keep them on their toes.
Yeah, do you want to keep them guessing? I think that's also been like a Puppy classic sometimes, where he's like, he just like makes sure he keeps the advantage. Because in this series, you better know that the coaching staff of BB, they've talked about this Invoker throughout the entire game too, and maybe throughout the break too, and they probably went to the players of like, hey, okay, this is what we think we should do against this Invoker and this and that. Like, Invoker must have been a big part of the conversation, and now you just keep them guessing. It's like, well, there's no Invoker now, so you just wasted your time talking about something that's not relevant, and you have to play a different game. It could be the explanation, or perhaps there is like, yeah, something that, you know, we're missing here. Anyway, they're gonna go for the Hoodwink, which is a great hero for them. They play on both roles, which I think every team don't have that. Like, it can either be +5 or +4, but they gave away the Coddle to BB.
Yeah, just to go off of the point that you mentioned, you said that maybe if it were anyone but no one playing that Invoker, PVISION would have lost. So I think that they had this idea that even if the mid Earth Spirit did come out, their Invoker would be solid against it, but that laning stage was very rough. Like, no one did come back through his Sunstrikes, but he got dominated pretty hard, and maybe they don't want to factor in a potentially lost lane in this.
Yeah, which would actually be a great adaptation, because I think it's only the best teams, right, that are going to be able to see through the result and be like, hey, we might have won the game, but maybe this wasn't optimal, you know, and maybe this was a little bit too hasty of me of saying, hey, we don't with Invoker, pick it again. But perhaps their conclusion was that, hey, first pick Invoker, actually a little bit risky against that team.
I mean, that Earth Spirit was incredible. It didn't win the game, but GPK's laning stage is really scary. I mean, just seeing it in action against the best mid laners in the tournament, like this, he's by far the best technical skill.
I mean, it's been 2 games in a row where no one is playing versus like 25 denies on GPK in 6 minutes. So far, pretty rough laning phase, both games for no one. But in both games, he also showed that this doesn't phase him at all. Like, he is able to impact the game regardless. We'll see if PVISION, they want to take an approach where they protect him a little bit more, because they've been kind of throwing him under the bus twice in a row. Like, they pick this Ember into Slaughter, they first pick Invoker, and they're like, well, it's no one, he'll manage. But yeah, it's no one. Perhaps you can give him a little bit more of a comfortable position, and he might just take over the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Slardar still has to be in contention. When Coddle comes out, of course, you think about Ember, you think about Pango, but that Slardar was a hero that PVISION were scared of in that game too, and it's left through. So you have to... Beastmaster is a great combination for this Coddle, but I do think that PVISION need to prepare an idea for in case the Slardar comes out. Are they willing to move away from the Embers and potentially play something ranged?
And that is the adaptation we've seen, right, from game 1, where they probably had the plan to pick the Beast, but it was stolen from them. So now it goes even further up in priority. They pick it as soon as they can, essentially, not letting PVISION the option to pick it for themselves. They kind of made the... I mean, but that being said, they made the conscious choice of not banning it. They decided to ban the Undying and the Bane. They must have known that Beastmaster was coming, right? I think you play BB, they pick Coddle, Beast is coming, most likely. So curious to see what PVISION decides to send to that lane, because we've seen many attempts from many fallen teams. None of them really succeeded in, you know, stopping this Beast Coddle combo.
I wonder if they're willing to play the Clinks themselves on PVISION, because maybe you played the Clinks against their Beastmaster and it cooked very hard.
The thing with this Beast Coddle, though, what is really oppressive is the amount of spam. It's like, I feel like only like a hero like Necro or something could just stay in that lane and tank all these axes that are coming non-stop, essentially. Like, it's just really hard to stop. From a theoretical perspective, I don't really know what does the job.
Maybe they can shelf that pick for a while then. It is a strange thing, though, if you see the offlane and you're not picking the safe lane here to free up your draft.
Yeah, the only reason would be that you want to protect also the pick so that your carry sees the carry matchup. There comes the Necro. Like, to me, it is like the best hero conceptually to sustain against because Beast Coddle, the way they win the lane or not lose it for that matter is they push the wave so aggressively with axes, and they just keep this axe debuff on the carry so that he can never be aggressive, essentially. Like, he's always dealing with creeps under his tower. He's always like trying to dodge the axes, starving in regen, keeping him low HP. And it's like, it doesn't matter the counter that you pick. Like, you could pick the best hero versus Beast. You named Klinks, Gyro, any hero. Like, they don't get to play the lane, essentially. But for Necro, it's different, because it's probably the only hero that will push as hard as they do. So he's going to maintain the pressure on the lane. He's maybe even going to be able to push into them. and this is when these heroes can actually falter.
Do you know what hero Kataomi actually does like playing, though? Ancient Apparition.
It could be a good.
Oh, never mind. Different Frosty hero coming out.
I mean, this hero has been. I feel like we haven't maybe talked about Wyvern as much as he deserved to be talked about, because it's been one of the big heroes of this tournament.
For
honestly,
sure.
like I've seen every team in the top 8 pick him at least once, and pretty high in priority. We've even seen some games. Wait, it was game 1, right, where they first picked Wyvern, or.
It was either game 1 or it was in the
It was in the
third
grand
place
finals, right?
decider.
I think game 1 of this.
Yeah, it was game 1
right,
of this
they
one,
first picked
yes.
Wyvern. So
Overall, first pick.
and it was PVISION, so both teams value this hero like extremely high, and it's not necessarily for the Cold Embrace, because it's not a good Cold Embrace game at all so far. Like this is like Necro, Willow, and Hoodwink. These heroes don't care at all about that spell. It's mostly about the laning presence also, which is. It's a dominant laner, and it didn't used to be, so it's a little bit deceptive, but the Q spell from Wyvern is just obnoxious.
I also think that Wyvern does something very nice for Kez, and it kind of alleviates the fear of some of his bad matchups, like Axe, for example. I've seen Wyvern and Kez be picked together versus the threat of an Axe, get Axed anyway, and defeat that lane, because he provides so much sustain through the battle hunger and the counter initiation to heroes like that. So this is one of those moments where I think Kez can be picked blind just because of the Wyvern.
Are you worried about the Kez versus Necro matchup? Like, is it particularly good for Kez, or is it even bad? Like, what's your take on that?
I mean, I think it's going to be a little bit difficult, but once you get to that nullifier, it should be okay. I think if they added some magic damage on their team from Vivi, that would give you the big jump. Because right now you're working with too much physical versus Necro.
Look at no one. After 2 games of pain and suffering, he's treated with a late pick in the draft. He gets to decide, yeah, I think it's a good puck game. He's still going to get counterpicked by GPK because, you know, you can't treat him that well. But he's going to be happy with this one. It's a very good puck game. Obviously, they have barely any lockdown for him. And he also gets 2 bans now to protect himself from the GPK Classic counterpicks. So, you know, I think this is probably the first game where he's going to be, set up for a better start to the game.
Sav, are you familiar with puck's win rate this tournament?
I know it's very low. I think the last time I checked, it was around 25%. I don't know if it went much higher.
It's 30% now.
Wow, 30%.
That's a step up. But
It's a step up, but it's not impressive, especially considering the fact that this hero has not been first phased at all anymore. So this is like a late, this is a great puck game. Well, no, it isn't. It's always losing. So, but I don't know. We're doubting PVISION. We're doubting no one. You know, perhaps
GPK has made a great case for himself to
he has.
outlane no one, though.
Yeah, he has, and he's gonna be able to select also, I guess, the third option that he wants. You know, I think these guys are pretty much in each other's head, so I'm sure that no one knows exactly what GPK would want to select in this case. He's gonna be banning both these heroes, like letting Puppy know, hey, get rid of Ember and get rid of, you know, X hero. So GPK will get the third option. We'll see how good it is.
Yeah, we still have the Centaur in the pool, by the way. Interesting to point out, as we are looking for an offlaner for PVISION. Notice still that one.
I mean, maybe it's not impossible that they pick it. I do think that Kez is like pretty fine against Centaur. I've seen carry players like choose to play Kez versus Centaur many times, and right now what PVISION's lineup is really lacking is objectives. Like if this is a Necro position 1 paired with a puck and these supports, like for them to take down towers, Roche, or Tormentors, it takes forever. So even if they dominate the game, they're gonna be dragged into like a long game just by the nature of their lineup. So if the last pick could fix a little bit of that issue, I think it would be good for them.
I think Tidehunter is a pretty cool hero for PVISION. I like him conceptually to provide that body for those objectives you mentioned, Sam, but also it's a great hero against Kez in terms of dispelling the Kazari Katana. Not the most popular pick this tournament, the Tide, but it could work.
It's a good lane for him, for sure. Especially with Willow. So no Slardar, no Ember. I guess there is the Earth Spirit that we've seen be played against Puck. I think it's a pretty good game, but it's gonna tell also it's gonna let us know what does GPK think about last game. You know, is he like, yeah, Earth Spirit maybe overrated, or like I don't feel that confident because he did a really good job in the early game but still lost the game, or does he keep the faith up in the Earth Spirit?
I think it's a fine game to play Earth Spirit. He'll buy the vessel for you. He's going to give you magic damage. Right now, there's a lot of overwhelming physical damage from the Kez, but you're playing against the Necro, and you need a way to kill him in the early game.
Yeah, there's Earth, there's Storm also. Okay, so they go Tiny. So they're gonna run a Necro position 3 against the Kez and the Wyvern.
How does Tiny do against that Beastmaster Cuddling? Because that's the whole reason why Necrophos was thought of for us.
Yeah, I think Necro could win that lane. I think Tiny doesn't win it for sure. I think he either draws or loses. But it is quite possible that he draws. I mean, I'm a Beast spammer, so I'm maybe biased, but I would give the advantage to the Beast Cuddle lane.
So what's the thought process behind the Tiny? What makes it worth sacrificing that lane for the Tiny, as we still see that Earth Spirit coming up? For GP.
Potential, it would just be weird to play the game. This is a much better, much more well-rounded lineup, and Tiny is just a solid hero. It's a good matchup versus Beast. At some point, the Tiny, you know, he has too much HP, too much HP regen. He just, you know, one-shot waves. He'll be fine. He's gonna suffer until he gets level 6, and after that, he'll just be okay.
It could be one of those situations also where Noticed asked for it to be a lane against Kez, because it's a very strong lane against Kez Wyvern, because he can defend himself from when Kez goes in and closes the gap.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that lane goes. Like, I wonder actually, like, theoretically I feel like it's good for Necro, but honestly, like, Kez Wyvern is a lot. Like, it's a lot of harass. Like, every wave they're gonna click their spells on you, and that's a lot of HP. It feels like he's gonna have to click his second spell every wave, almost. And I don't know how much he'll enjoy it. We'll have to see. At the same time, I'm very happy to see Earth Spirit. I think it also makes the case of, it's reassuring that, you know, the game 2 did not affect BB team and GPK in particular by any mean. So that's a good news for BB fans.
Yeah, I mean, I think Earth Spirit's a great lane versus Puck, and he's going to have a solid start, and he's going to be strong for a very big portion of this game. But if Necrophos has a good game, I think Earth Spirit actually falls off very heavily against this hero, who itemizes very comfortably against him, and then he eventually runs out of damage for the Necrophos. So then it becomes all on Kez to deal with him.
But, you know, we've heard Kiritich many times say that, you know, Kez is his signature hero, and he feels like every time he gets his hand on the hero, the game is just easy. I don't think he's lost with it yet here. So